Thanks everyone for joining us for our second edition and all our new faces. I love it. We've a lot of people don't know that there are small groups like us actually in our community. And where's Renko? And Renko also runs, is it Link? Okay, Links. And they run a biggish community like ours as well. And we never do things together. There's lots of other trainers actually that we don't know. Well, I say we, I'm assuming like our tribe and their tribe. But we definitely need to collaborate more because there's so many more recruiters that we can chat to. But anyway, okay, so let me go. Thank you very much for joining us. Our theme tonight is a lightning talk. So I'm mostly excited about this. Okay, we're going to be really strict. Okay, so it's 5 minutes a speaker. Unfortunately, Alan couldn't make it due to personal reasons. So Skillsmiths, they're doing a demo, so I'm going to allow them to take that extra 5 minutes there at the end. And they're 2 people, so I thought it was only fair. My mini-me daughter will be standing in front of you. She will signal 2 minutes, 1 minute, and your final one is... You may go. Okay, she'll say, and if you're not finished, then you're not finished. Okay, we're going to stick to our rules tonight. And then please don't forget your gift bags when you leave. I think it's really cute. I'm super proud of our little swag. So don't forget it. Another thing, my car is parked on the other side of the waterfront. So if you could finish all the beverages before you leave, that would also be wonderful. So I don't have to take that all with me. Just before we start, very quickly, I just want to thank our sponsors because it's things like this do cost money. PNet. Thank you very much. PNets are always involved with every single conference that I've had and our mini ones, which is fabulous. Hired just now, they're new to us, but they give us the wine, the best wine. And I can get you... Why didn't you tell me? I could have waited. Okay. Sorry, babes. Welcome. Involve Digital. Thank you very much for our camera setup, very professional. If you are looking for videos, if you're looking to do podcasts, if you're looking to record anything, Involve Digital have a new division now, they're rockets. And all of this goes live on YouTube with a huge thanks to Placement Partner. Placement Partner have always also been with us from the start. And they've actually made Recruiters Unite live, our own social media channel, which I'm really excited about. So this will go on YouTube. I will post it afterwards, and then you can have a look. And then we'll put the slides professionally on the side as well, so you can get more detail with that. And then, okay, so I don't think I'm going to introduce everyone, but we've seen the flyers. It's all on our social media, so I don't want to waste time. I think we can just cut straight to it. And then, good luck, speakers. May the 5 minutes be with you.
Hi, so for my sins, I am first. And I'll be getting Sam back for that. All right, so my name is Miga. I'm with a company called Performability. I'm talking about Recruiters Care because last year we started an initiative called Recruiters Care. So Recruiters Care is about giving back and uplifting and empowering the graduates and students that are unemployed, because there are so many unemployed students at the moment, and we are all about educating them, from educating them how to put together a CV, how to go for interviews, how to brand themselves, and how to have a LinkedIn profile. So that for us is very important. We want to work with agencies, whether you come from an agency recruiter or a company. We want to work with everybody, and we believe that recruiters too long have not been working together. Everybody's kind of in their own silo, and this is not what we're about. We're always there for our candidates, and we need to be there for each other as well. So from Recruiters Care, it's all about stronger recruitment and community, and whatever you help us with, as you can see at the bottom here, it says the PR spin-off for individual brands. So whatever you help us with, if you're doing training or you're doing talks or you are getting involved with our clothing drives, your name will always be involved. So it's not only Recruiters Care, it'll be Recruiters Care and Capture, or Recruiters Care and whoever your company is. All right. So we've got various projects that are happening at the moment, and we work with the numerous universities at the moment. We're working with WITS, Tshwane University, Durban University of Technology, as well as UKZN. We've got other universities that we're busy in talks with at the moment. We also are collecting clothing, and not the clothes that you want to just throw away. It's a second, gently used clothing is what we call it, for graduates that cannot afford to go out and go and buy clothes for their first job. So whether it's a suit, a jacket and a skirt, or a jacket and a pants, that's what we're collecting, and we're collecting it and giving it to, in Cape Town we're working with Suits for Graduates, and Joburg we're working with the Humanity Foundation, and in KZN we are working with Live Howick, or Love Howick is who they're called. We also, that's more about the community drives. We're looking for volunteers at the moment, volunteers to mentor graduates, right? And also to check CVs. So we have CVs that we'll have graduates that will give us CVs, and we check them to see if they are up to scratch. So if you feel you don't want to go and talk in front of people, but you are willing to go and look at CVs, and it happens once a quarter, it's not a everyday thing. Once a quarter you get a batch of CVs that you go through, and you get in touch with me and say to me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, speak to me afterwards. That's how you get involved. Whether it's the CVs, whether it's talks at the universities, or if you want to get involved with a mentoring or clothes drives. And that's it. Together we can make a difference, and you can get me on LinkedIn. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Way less than 5 minutes.
How's it, everyone? I'm Gayleen from Boss Consult, and we specialize in data recruitment, tech as well. So we hire data engineers and data specialists, and I've got a massive love for data in recruitment. So today I'm going to touch on data in recruitment. I've asked a couple of my recruitment friends, what does data go by these days? Some say data is the new oil, it's the new electricity, it's the foundation of AI, it's the new currency, and data is the Wi-Fi for the soul. There are different types of data in recruitment, right? We get sourcing data, candidate data, and cost data. I'm sure you guys are going to hear more about the candidate data side of things, but I just want to touch on the cost data, right? So I'm running a recruitment agency, and if I look at the cost every month, we're looking at the accountant, the lawyer, the Wi-Fi, the tools, and security data to protect your data, as well as where you're working, whether it's in spaces like a shared environment or with the office as well. And just to give you some insight, we are a couple of consultants. We're working on 65% commission, so it's a high commission scale, but the operating costs are less. If I can share, it's about 12 grand and under. So that means high commission, less risk for the company, and then the consultants walk away with more money. How is data part of the daily grind in recruitment? Data drives smarter hiring decisions. It reveals top talent. Data uncovers sourcing strategy gaps. So there's something that you've maybe missed when you get to offer stage. It uncovers sourcing strategy gaps and tracks diversity hiring goals. And number 3, data tracks candidate quality versus quantity and evaluates a recruiter's performance. I mean, these days, you don't have to send 20 CVs to a client, right? If you have proper briefing, you understand the product, you understand the culture of the company, you can actually just send 3 CVs, get all interviews, and then get an offer, if you know the product of a company. Right, the tech used in data recruitment. So we have our OTS systems, which you all know, that's Placement Partner, Ditto, and all of those companies. Then you get the marketing platform, data enrichment tools. We're looking at HackerRank, IKMs, AI to refine, which I'm going to go into a bit at the end. Then you get your collaboration tools, which is Slack and Trello. I'm sure we use that. And people analytics platform. We're looking at Tableau, SQL. That is your Excel spreadsheets. Due to time, can't go too much into that. How does data improve your recruitment decision making at the end of the day? It improves the quality to hire, fast time to hire. It improves the candidate experience, bias mitigation, and reduce costs. I want to touch on bias mitigation. Imagine we had to take out the candidate's name, gender, and all of those things that's personal, and just focus on the skill set. Then we can actually hire smarter and not hire wrong and save on cost. I'm going to just show you quickly a 30-second live video of if a client sends you a job spec, right? You have no idea where to start. The spec looks like gibberish to you. You have no clue. You have no data experience. You have no tech experience. And they send you maybe like a data engineer spec. You basically create a Boolean search, which I'll go into that now. So basically, you take the job spec, you put it in the ChatGPT. You say, hey, Mr. ChatGPT, please create a Boolean search for the job title, data engineer based in Cape Town. It pulls off. Put in a free X-ray LinkedIn tool. Just copy and paste this code over here. I'll show you now. Sorry, guys. Copy and paste it over here. And put it in the X-ray search. And basically, then it pops up, all your candidates, in less than a few seconds. So if you're uncertain, take the candidate's CV, put it in there. Hey, Mr. ChatGPT, what does this candidate do? Take the job spec, put it into ChatGPT. It creates a Boolean search for you. You can actually put this in Peanut. You can put this like on the X-ray. You can put it into Google, and there's so many other tools that you can put it into. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Christoph O'Kennedy. I'm speaking on behalf of Hire Just Now, it's the company donating the wine, but we are also a South African, we're also a South African only employer of record, or the acronym, as you guys can see, EOR. My brother and Carl started Hire Just Now about 3 years ago. And our purpose is to empower global businesses with South African talent. So I think it's one of those goals that everyone in this room, we can all fight towards that, to say South Africa has exceptional talent. There's a lot of global businesses out there who does not know about the South African talent. Yeah, that is why we exist. So my intention would be, I do at the end of the day have got a QR code that you can come and scan to get some of the content that we do have. I created it, so don't worry, I won't go through everything today. It is called EOR 1-in-1, the Essentials, and it's specifically customized for for recruitment partners, because if we speak to a global company, we speak with a different lens. If we speak to a candidate, we speak with a different lens. So today I'm specifically speaking with that recruitment partner lens. So obviously you have some of the basic definitions of just what is an EOR, what are your options for hiring. So that's why the EOR product exists. You need to understand the context. Why is it that global companies can't just employ South Africans? So that one will probably answer that question. The third one there is just the benefits of using an employer of record. And then obviously, as we all know, why South Africans are exceptionally talented. Sometimes you do need to advocate that to your global businesses as well. The next part just shows the process. Now I know it is quite small, and therefore I think my desired outcome would be for a recruitment partner to realize that in order to plug into an employer of record, you just follow your normal process, and then you get to the end stage where the client says, but how are we going to employ this person legally? And that is where you have your card and you say, but don't worry, we've got it sorted out. Energize now is there. So we make sure that we handle payroll, we handle taxes. Obviously with the foreign exchange, we handle that. And unfortunately, towards the end, there can be dismissals. So we also come from a very strong legal background. So at the end of the day, you can see how the initial recruitment process plugs into the employer of record process. The visual on the right, if you do have a little bit more time, you would be able to get the bigger picture. So technically, whenever I would pitch Energize now to any client, I would say we are a third party, right? So the first party would be your global business. They are desperately looking for a South African talent. So the first party is your global business. Your second party would be your South African employee. And those two, they might already have a relationship. They might even be on an independent contract. And somewhere along the line, they realize technically this is not legal, right? We actually need a contract. And that is where the third party comes in, which is your employer of record. My emphasis today, and I made it in a gold so that you guys can see, is technically the recruitment partner can plug into Energize now by reaching out to the global businesses before we connect with them and saying that, hey, we can help you guys with recruitment. There's exceptional talent in South Africa. And you go through your normal recruitment process. And towards the end, you just throw in the card to say, and don't worry about the employment. We've got our trusted local South African employer of record who will sort out everything that has to do with the legislation. So that is just to show where the recruitment partner, I want to say you guys can plug into us. The second last slide now, if you do open this document yourself, I actually built a financial model. And the financial model shows, in short, so I've got 30 seconds to basically convince you guys. On paper, this is a no-brainer. So on paper, if you appoint someone with a salary of 50,000 Rand, if you go to global businesses, you can probably up your 12-15% once-off recruitment fee to 20%, right? On top of that, you can get a referral from Energize now because you introduced the client to us. So I know I'm cut off, so I need to end now. The last point I want to make is at the end of the day, if you look at this model, and you're welcome to get the slides afterwards, you can make an additional 1.5 million per year. So I say additional. In there you can see, I mean, you are giving up the cost of actually recruiting in South Africa. So let's say an additional 500,000 Rand by just continuing your normal process. So this is a massive value add, and I definitely want anyone who's interested to please reach out. And yeah, our heart is to empower global businesses with South African talent. Yes. So thanks so much for that.
Hi guys, my name is Renko from Continuum Personnel Services. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Gonna get going. So first off, I do hate public speaking with a passion. So if I twitch, it's not the Tourette's. All right, if the eye twitches, it's not that. All right, let's get going. We're gonna chat about employee misclassification. First, we're gonna run through what is employee misclassification. Then we're going to define what is an employee. Then we're going to define what is an independent contractor. And then we're going to talk about the risk factors that you as recruiters face. All right, okay. Yes, we see that in so many aspects of our lives. In the workplace, on the road, at the beach, in the pub, all right? And clients take chances, mate, same as employees. All right, it occurs, employee misclassification occurs when an employer incorrectly labels workers as a contract or independent contractors when they are in fact employees. All right, why? Because they want to avoid liability. Okay? They want to avoid statutory tax obligations. Okay, it's just too much admin, isn't it? All right? And they also use it as a means to terminate employment without any liability. Because you can sack off an independent contractor just because you don't like him. All right? Why do some employees advocate to be independent contractors? Now, we've heard this before. No, but I'm an independent contractor. All right? No. Because they want to work on their own time. All right? They demand it. I want to work on my own time. I want my own freedom. They actually want to avoid employee tax. Not everybody does it. Some employees take chances. Whilst demanding, but I'm still entitled to paid leave. No, you're not. Okay? You must still buy me a laptop. No, I don't. Yeah. All right? Oh, you must still give me a notice period. Where? Have you ever met a real estate agent who gets a notice period? All right. Still because they still want to enjoy a full-time salary. Pay me, but I want my freedom. Really? Okay, let's define who is an employee. Gonna run through this very quickly. Okay. A worker is classified as an employee if any one of these are present. All right? If the person is under the control of another person. Straightforward. If a person works for more than 40 hours a week for the consecutive 3 months, you're an employee. If the company buys you a laptop, if the company provides operating equipment, you're an employee. So if any of these are present, you're an employee, straight up. Okay? Then, of course, as we all know, we often get the insufferable know-it-alls who knowingly actually don't know. All right? But I just invoice my boss at the end of the month for my salary. Well, boo-hoo. All right? 3 things are wrong with this sentence. All right? I invoice my boss, 1. All right? 2, at the end of the month, and salary. 3 factors already define that person as an employee. All right. Okay. What is an independent contractor? Now, we're not going to go through all of this one by one. How many minutes do I have? Oh, I've only been speaking for 1.5 minutes. I'm fine. Hoosa. All right. Oops. Where am I? Sorry, go back. Okay. An independent contractor agreement is governed by contract law, not labor law. All right? That therefore means that the individual is not protected under the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. All right? He does not work full-time for an employer, 8 to 5, 195 hours a month. All right? He doesn't get paid annual leave, overtime rates, doesn't qualify for maternity benefits because there's no UIF being deducted from an independent contractor. All right? The person doesn't get a fixed monthly salary. Doesn't matter how you dress it up. All right? No, but it's just a retainer. It's a service retention fee. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. It's the same thing. All right? I mean, we know the English. They like dressing things up, right? You know? Yeah? Like you know, a sun-dried tomato, a sun-dried cherry tomato is a sun-dried cherry tomato. But the English, no. Sun-blushed cherries. Oh, fuck off. Bleep that in editing. All right. Don't dress it up because it's the same thing. It's a salary. Right. Must register for provisional tax. Now, this is normally where these independent contractors go a bit cross-eyed when you mention stuff like this. Are you registered as a provisional taxpayer? Huh? No, I just invoice my boss. Okay. Okay. They can't lodge a case at the CCMA. There's no such thing. All right? What are we? No! All right, guys, for whoever wants this, there's some extracts of what you face. Okay, sorry. I'm Renko. Cheers. There's some links.
Hi guys, I'm Ronald from Placement Partner, and we've been watching from the wings while you guys perform live on stage for the last 19 years. You've been placing job seekers in desperate job seekers in jobs, finding scarce talents for desperate employers, moving people from unhappy jobs to happier jobs, and growing the workforce this country is built on. And we've been in the wings, so to speak, basically setting the stage, moving the props around, trying to, make the stage look good on which you perform. And just like anybody backstage who's seen an act quite a few times, we do tend to notice some stuff. So in the next 3 minutes, 38 seconds of my remaining time, I'll try and elaborate on that. So I've basically got time for 3 things, I think. The first trend we've noticed is that headcount is reducing per recruitment agency. So like way back, in the days of filing cabinets, we had an average of 6 recruiters per agency, and that has now reduced to 4.5. So that's quite a significant decrease, and we put that down to automation. It's not like companies are making less money or that companies have shrunk in terms of revenue. It's just they've shrunk in terms of headcount. And that would be due to automation of the recruitment process. It's ironic that we as recruitment software providers would enable automation to reduce headcount because we generally bill per user per month. But anyway. Then that leads on to point number 2, that the impact of AI. Everybody's talking about AI at the moment. Will recruitment agencies go the way of travel agencies? I mean, I think everyone has that fear. But I don't think so. Travel agencies' bread and butter was flights. And the 11:45 KLM to Amsterdam tonight is the same as tomorrow, same as the day after. So you guys, your currency is candidates, and every single one is unique. So it's a completely different ballgame. It can't be compared. I mean, when calculators came out, everyone thought mathematicians are going to be out of work. But what happened? Mathematicians just got better. And I mean, now they use amazing supercomputers, and they do even more cutting edge stuff that no one could ever dream that they would be able to do. And it's the same recruiters. I mean, we can do stuff now that recruiters back then couldn't dream of doing in less time. Having said which, the headcount of agency recruiters is probably going to continue to reduce as individual recruiters are able to make more placements per desk, and bosses of agencies expect more placements per recruiter working for them, right? So it's crucial to maintain the human-to-human connection. Your personal networks are crucial. You need to leverage AI and all the tools at your disposal to create more time for yourself to do what AI and automation can't do, and that is the human-to-human connection. Like that is not going to be replaced. I mean, some would say that human-to-human connection is the point of life. Yeah. And that spark that you get, I mean, just the mere fact that we are here, that actually, I mean, there's a reason for that, right? We haven't sent our AI bots to come and have this chat, to assimilate the information, read it to us tomorrow morning while we wake up and drink our coffee. And that leads me on to my last topic. I think I might be in injury time now. And that is top billers. So the thing is, for business owners, you might have noticed in your own business something that along these lines, but we found among all our clients that 65% or 2/3 roughly of placement fees are generated by only 23% of individual recruiters. So roughly a quarter of recruiters are generating 2/3 of the revenue in the entire industry. So these top billers are, they've got networks, they're naturals, they strike up rapport, they have a way of building trust, they manage to get the candidate sold to the client, they manage to to match well between a candidate and okay, look, I'm running out of time. Anyway, so what about the other 2/3 of recruiters that aren't top billers? Should they be done away with by automation? No, that is your breeding ground for top billers. That is where people learn. That's where you don't just walk into an organization as a top biller. You need to find your feet. So that's what happens there. And the people that come in there either sink or swim. So the fact that you guys are all here, you're upskilling, you're interested, you're actively engaged, you're probably in the 23% already. And with that thought, I bid thee good night. Break a leg.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I am Caitlin van der Merwe from Recruitism, and it is a consulting firm that I've started that really focuses on like TA strategy, HR tech implementation, and then really specifically on the intersection between neurodiversity and TA. So today I'm going to be speaking a little bit about the benefits of hiring neurodivergent recruiters. We just heard about top billers and what some of those qualities are. I'm going to talk a little bit how that kind of aligns with neurodivergent folk and how we can really start, tapping into that to get a competitive advantage. Quick survey: who's heard the term neurodiversity, neurodivergence? Put your hands up. Okay. Keep your hands up if you know what it means. Got like a good understanding. Great. Keep your hands up if you are neurodivergent yourself or suspect you are. Okay, I would have thought there were more in the room, but essentially neurodiversity, I know Vanessa is, where is Van tonight? Sorry, I have ADHD, I'm going to get distracted easily, 5 minutes. Okay, neurodiversity is the kind of umbrella term for a set of conditions or neurological differences, and instead of looking at these as disabilities or bad things, we can really start to reframe it by looking at the strengths. And some of the examples that fall under the umbrella is autism spectrum disorder, which is me. I know I don't look autistic, but I am, and that shows that it doesn't look the way you think it does. ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, someone mentioned Tourette's earlier. Tourette's also falls under, so many things fall under the umbrella. So some of the kind of overall benefits of having neurodiverse teams, so why companies like SAP, Microsoft, Ernst & Young, Google, Deloitte, why do they have neurodiverse teams? So research shows that neurodivergent folk are about 40% more productive. JP Morgan Chase actually did a study with their Autism at Work program and found that their neurodivergent staff were 90 to 140% more productive than their neurotypical counterparts and made less errors. Higher employee retention rates. So there's been some studies done by Google, SAP, Microsoft on their programs. They found that their neurodivergent folks stay 90% longer than most others. So the retention rates are a lot higher. And then the Harvard Business Review calls it a competitive advantage. So when we start to tap into these different ways of thinking and different thought processes, we're actually creating a bigger pool for ourselves, and we are creating a competitive advantage. Now the juice of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the known strengths of neurodivergent people and how that kind of correlates to making them great recruiters. So neurodivergent people are highly creative thinkers, and this is great when you want to have like an innovative sourcing strategy or a different way of coming up with an employer branding approach. They have high attention to detail, which is excellent if you are looking at like reviewing CVs, you want to spot the mistakes. They're the person that's going to spot that gap that's like 10 years ago and question. They're going to be really great for your audits because the admin's going to be great, and that attention to detail just makes them really good at like keeping the little ducks in a row. So it is a very well-known thing that particularly autistic people have superior pattern recognition, And this is great because they will be able to, pick up all this different information. They're taking in 40% more info at any given time, and they can actually create that into like a bigger picture, put all those puzzle pieces together. And this is great for like identifying trends in candidate profiles, being able to naturally figure out like what the trends are in hiring data, and being able to pick up those little shifts in emotional cues. Despite what people think, particularly about autistic people, they actually have a very, very high sense of empathy, which is great for building trust. They will be transparent, they'll be honest, and that really helps build those relationships. They're great at navigating the really sensitive discussions as well. Okay, global systems thinking, that's kind of your top-down thinking, where they're thinking of the bigger picture and can like narrow that down to what does that mean in the nitty-gritty. This is really great for understanding, like if they are going to be really great at identifying who's a great fit for this client, how they match with those long-term goals. They're going to challenge bias in the job descriptions, and they're going to really push for those inclusive hiring processes. They're really great at problem solving, which is great when, in any situation with clients, you're going to come up with problems. There's going to be bottlenecks. There's going to be things that go wrong. And typically they can be really good at resolving those things. Same with stakeholder conflicts and market challenges. There's a reason that they are retained 90% higher, because typically they're going to stick it out. They're loyal. And then something a little bit more known about neurodivergent people is the hyperfocus and deep interest. Now, if you can get a neurodivergent person to hyperfocus on your niche or your company, you will never find someone more loyal. And that was my cutoff, and great, because that is it. I'm just going to leave you with this quote. And I've stuck some stickers in everyone's bags. So if you guys do want to talk a little bit about auditing your environment, and you want to talk about getting more neurodiverse people in, this is what I do. Please reach out. Thank you.
All right, guys, so good evening. For those that don't know me yet, I'm Marna Creer, and I've been working for PNet for the past almost 6 years now in the recruitment agency sector. Recruitment agencies are my clients, and I do see a lot of familiar faces here tonight, so I take it you guys know what PNet does and what we have to offer. But just to be sure, make sure, we are South Africa's largest job market or job board in South Africa. And we have a whopping 7 million registered candidates on our database. And we've been around for 28 years, and that evolved from a traditional job board to a sophisticated job matching platform. But I'm not here to brag about PNet the whole 5 minutes. I can, but I'm not. I wanted to share some information about our latest job trend report that specifically speaks to the sourcing of candidates. And it was really, it has a lot of good information that I'll give you the site at the end. But we know that listings and job ads has their place. But if we be realistic, and I think you guys will agree with me that searching that specific skills are key. And that really has its own benefits. So PNet research shows that 12% of candidates are actively searching new jobs, where 13% are only casually searching and actually looking at the jobs. Am I in the market? Am I not? That means 75% of candidates are not even looking at jobs at all. And that is the market that our recruiters want to target and source in. And then, sorry, I actually forgot about my slides. So this is our market trend report. And then on the next 3 points here that I want to speak on our lightning talk that I have around 3 minutes left, I'm going to extract some key insights like the sectors that are most targeted with recruiters, the professionals that have been most demanded over the past 3 years, the top search, and then also which kind of job seekers are targeted through candidate sourcing, and what I mean by often. So these are the candidate sectors that are most targeted, following with software developers, business management professionals, finance, IT, admin support staff, and sales. So if you look at this, we have the middle department management that are, 1 in 5 searches are on middle department management, following by the software development. What's interesting is that the software or the IT professionals, particularly software developers, job ads has dropped with 45% in the past 3 years, but still second in line for the most sought for. Okay? And then on this sheet, what we are our top searching terms, we have our accountants, bookkeepers, financial management, sales, project management, of course, the type of keywords that are sought for on our job board. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that the PNET research found that software developers are most frequently sourced, right? It makes sense because we move into this more digitized economy, and it's going to become more and more. These jobs are going to be available. And we actually see some candidates from the financial accountant side, but what's interesting is that these most sought for candidates or jobs that are out there are called more than 100 times per year, these type of candidates, which means that's 2 calls per week. It's amazing, but it can be also very frustrating, I imagine, for that candidate. So guys, we have this available to you for, if you go onto PNET website, pnetw.co.za, go to Know How, and you have access to this monthly, or the quarterly, job market trend report. Thank you.
All right, guys, Sam, thanks for the opportunity. It's good to see some familiar faces around in the room. So I'm Robert Pete, and my double act here is Mark Bloomberg. We're the co-founders and directors of a company called Skillsmith, highly specialized IT recruitment firm. We have an office in the Netherlands. We have clients all over the world. Been around about 4 years now. Our background is both super corporate tech, so I worked for the big green triangle, Dimension Data, and now the blue one, NTT, for 22 years. I was head of sales for them. And Mark was a client director for 12 years.
12 years.
My throat's so bad. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to just bear with that. So what we've done is, look, AI is all over the place right now. We're a small agency. We're only 6 people. We're all over the world. I mean, Tanya's flown all the way out from Sweden, from Stockholm today. Thank you, Tanya. No, she didn't really. But she does live in Stockholm, and she is out in South Africa. It's good to have you here. And Leona and Andrea also work for Skillsmith. So we're a small team, highly specialized, very high-end tech roles. How do we get back time? How do we get closer to our clients and candidates? Well, we build a tool, right? So we do it ourselves. So we put our money where our mouth is. And so what we've done is we've productized an amazing lightweight AI toolbox that's going to make, hopefully, your life a lot easier, give you back a lot of time, super affordable, and go for it. Or we're going to run out of time.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So I'm going to run through this as quick as I can. Hopefully 10 minutes is enough. We built a product called Verbi, guys. Verbi.com was available for R1 million, so we called it Go Verbi. And let me just log in here, and I'm going to show you guys what it's all about. So as Rob mentioned, we have productized our process. So we've chosen 4 different things that we use in our life every single day as recruiters. How do we unpack job descriptions? How do we write blurbs for our candidates? How do we do outreach emails for certain job descriptions or to candidates? And regret emails, those horrible things to write. So I'm going to take you through each one of these. So we'll start with the JD Expander. So as a junior recruiter or somebody that has no clue what a JD is that a client has sent to them, I pulled them up over here. We go another day for a senior site lead for a mining company somewhere in East Africa. So, exactly. So, it's very simple. So, you're in the tool, you drop it in the place in the job description. You can choose to add other company details and other specific things, but I'm going to skip that part and we hit generate. So what we do is, for someone who has absolutely no idea how to source on a certain job description, how to do Boolean searches, I think you spoke about it earlier. We've developed a tool that can break down that into something that I can understand as a non-technical individual. So what it does is it gives you a full breakdown of the specific job description. It gives you the role, what it's about, the core functions, the focus, the critical skills to look out for from a candidate perspective, the technical skills, the non-technical skills. It also puts together some technical questions that you get to ask your candidates. Technical and non-technical. And then some sourcing tips, red flags to look out for in candidates, and then alternative job titles. So, and then the Boolean search is at the bottom. So really it's just something that can unpack. There's more. So that's your JD expander, guys. So once we've found the candidate, we meet them, they're lacquer and they're cool, we want to send them to our client. So I've just to show these are actual real documents. They're not just fake things and this is all not happening. So we're going to use Rob for this one. Put in your CV. I'm going to put in the job description. I'll use the same one. And then I've made a note here, just to include. I'd normally type it out. What you can put in this place is, when you have a meeting with a candidate, you take down a whole bunch of notes. You stick it in here, and what you do is you generate, and it takes all the information, takes the CV, takes the job description and your notes, and it puts together this incredible blurb that you can copy and paste and send it off to your clients along with the candidate CV. It does take a little bit of time for certain tools because it's breaking it down, sending it to an LLM, coming back. And if you want to read it, I don't know if you guys can read it from there, but it effectively tells them exactly who Rob is, the things they want to know about Rob, specifically the job description. It breaks down his education, the skills that he brings along, his notice period, how much he earns or wants to earn, and where he's living in Melkbos.
Trying to give the hiring managers a standardized approach and a quick view. I mean, obviously, you can do this in any AI, you can do this in ChatGPT yourself, but we'll get to that later. I'm sure you've got questions. We'll talk about that later.
So it's exactly that. It's the tone is the same. You know, if you've got a team of people, you're not going to have different things coming from different people in the same organization. All right, so this one's pretty cool. So let's use, sorry, what we didn't mention was this isn't for tech. This is for any industry, any role. So I'm going to use a nurse here. I'm going to drop in the nurse JD. I'm going to use a professional tone, and when I find a candidate online and I get the email address through whatever means, and I want to generate a nice email to reach out to them and get a response from them, put it in, hit generate. Similarly, it'll give you an amazing email to copy paste and send to the candidate, telling them all about the role. You can include things like the budget range, where it's located, and a bunch of other tools. This is my favorite. Okay, how often do we get a phone call from a client and they're like, listen, I met with Justin the other day. He arrived late to the interview, rude and arrogant. So check here. Regret Justin. He was late for the interview. I can put it in. Smells like wine. And was very rude and arrogant.
She's pushing it.
So, how do you spell it? Yeah. So, and you can. So we've got 3 stages. So if someone sends their CV to you, I want to apply for this job. Every candidate deserves a response, guys. I think everyone should get used to that. So if you don't want to interview them, you can do it upon application. If you've met them and they aren't good, you can send it there. But if they met a client, you do it in this one. And it gives you back the most softest way of delivering a hard message. And I'm going to read it to everyone because you might not be able to read. Dear Justin, thank you for your time interviewing for, and you can put in the client's name. I'll actually put it over here quickly. Sales, anyway, so you can put in the name of the client and the position that will actually fill these 2 placeholders. After careful consideration, the hiring manager decided not to proceed with the application at this time. Punctuality is an important aspect of the company culture, and there were concerns about your arrival time for the interview. Additionally, the interactions during the interview did not align with the professional demeanor expected for this position. We so it's really a tool that helps you land a message with the candidates. Sometimes candidates come back with after these rejection emails and they are horrified. So, okay, cool. So that's the 4 tools. There's this part over here. So what we've done is, so this is built by recruiters for recruiters. We want to enhance, continuously enhance it. So what we've done is, if you've got an idea about a process within your recruitment process or business that you want to suggest in here, send it to us. If it gets in, we'll put it up. If it makes money, you get to share in the spoils for a year. It's pretty cool. Can't guarantee things are going to get built. We're not going to just load this thing with many, many tools. Have I left anything out?
Yeah, I think, so this is live. Do you want to put up the web page and just show them the prices and all that?
Yeah, okay, so there's 2 models, guys. So the first one is, so everyone that logs in gets 10 credits, okay? Not just here, ever. There's a special coming. So how we've priced this is, you can subscribe monthly. It's $10 or 180 Rand, and you get 150 interactions. So I've just done 4. Are you saying hello, or are you giving me 1? So you subscribe for $10 a month or 180 Rand, and you get 150 credits to use every single month. The alternative is $5. You can buy 25 credits and top up any time that you want. So what we decided here is, if anybody from here tonight logs in and subscribes, we'll guarantee you 200 credits for the next year, each month. Just send me a mail. I'll confirm that you were here. But yeah, so that's Verb, you guys.